guys, today I will show you how to find the cube of binomials. First of all, as a quick reminder, binomial basically means just two terms added or subtracted. Cube of binomial basically means that your binomial raised to the third power. So something like this. Now, there is a formula, there is a pattern that can be used. So say you have been given this binomial a plus b, or it could be a minus b, to the third power. First of all, notice that a plus b cubed does not equal a cubed plus b cubed. It's not like this. That's completely wrong. Same goes for a minus b cubed. That does not equal a cubed minus b cubed. Completely, totally wrong. Basically, when you open up the parentheses, when you distribute, or when you expand, all that means you need to raise to the third power whatever you are given first. Next, you need to add the triple of the product, these two terms, with the first term raised to the second power. Next term is going to be triple, so 3 times the product of these two terms. Now the second term to the second power, and the last term you need to add the second term cubed, so raised to the third power. Now, when it comes to subtraction, so if you have minus between these two terms, all you do is just alternate between signs. So the first term comes positive, the second term gonna be negative, the third term gonna be positive, and the last term gonna be negative. And at the end of the video, I will go through into example that fits into subtraction, when you are given subtraction between terms. And by the way, this formula basically derives from a binomial theorem, if you like. And binomial theorem basically gives you expansion for any power, let's say for any n power. And by the way, I do have a separate video on binomial theorem. I have a couple of videos. The link would be down below in the description box. And if you're up to these videos, you could definitely go ahead and check it out later. Now, say you have x plus 2 raised to the third power, so cube of x plus 2 of the binomial. And you need to open up the parentheses, you need to distribute it. You need to distribute it or expand it. All you do at this point, just apply this formula. Just apply this formula. Now, all it says, you need to raise the third term, which is x, to the third power. Now, plus, since your terms are added together, 3 times the second power of first term, which is x, or x to the second power, times the second term, which is 2. Add. Now, triple, 3 times the first term as is, which is x. And now we need to raise to the second power second term. And we need to add at this point the last term, the second term, if you will, to raise to the third power. Notice basically that the power kind of shifted, and you still have this 3 as a binomial coefficient, if you will, in front of your terms. Now, all you need to do, you need to just simplify. So make sure you get it in the simplest form possible. So just clean it up, so we don't want to leave the house like that. So the first term still remains the same, plus. Now, so 3 times 2 gives you 6, x squared. Next term, so 2 squared reduces to 4. Since 2 times 2 gives you 4, 4 times 3 gives you 12. So 12x, that's going to be a third term. And finally, the last term, 2 raised to the third power to cube, gives you 8. Since 2 times 2 times 2 gives you 8. Check to see if any more simplifying can be done at this point, and we cannot simplify any further. So that's going to be your expansion for that binomial. Now, let's have a look at another one. Say you have 1 minus 4y cubed, so cube of this binomial. Little bit different from what we did before. Now, all you want to do, you want to fit it into this formula, this cube of binomial formula. Notice that your A is gonna be 1, so you could basically match up. So your 1 is A, and your B in this case, it's gonna be entire for Y. So we need to take into consideration this coefficient 4 in front of Y. Now, let's expand it. Let's open up the parentheses. Equals. So all it says, you need to take the first term, which is 1, and raise it to the third power. So I'm going to write it explicitly at this point. Next term is gonna come negative, since you have negative between your terms. So minus 3 times the first term 1 is gonna be raised to the second power, gets multiplied by the second term as is. So the second terms is 4y. So I'm going to write 4y. Next term comes positive plus 3 gets multiplied by 1, the first term, and the second term for y has to be raised to the second power. Notice at this point I enclose this for y, the second term b, entirely. So the whole expression, the whole term for y has to be raised, gets raised to the second power. So many people kind of trip over here, trip up, and they just write for y second, for y raised to the second power. So they don't write their parentheses. It's vitally important because eventually this 4 needs to raise also to the second power. So pay attention at this point. Now the last term comes negative, so you need to subtract minus. So the last term, the second term, which is 4y, has to be raised to the third power. So entirely. So again, so you want to draw the parentheses at this point and raise this entire term, entire expression, cube to the third power. So we did expand. So this is your expansion basically. So all you need to do at this point is just simplify it down. So you want to clean it up. So we don't want to leave the house like that. So equals 1 cubed becomes just 1. Minus, so 1 squared becomes just 1, and this one can be ignored at this point. 3 times 4, that would leave you just with 12y plus next one, so 1, and again at this point we can just ignore it. So they would leave you with 3 times, so again at this point, so this entire for y has to be raised to the second power. So all that means that you need to raise to the second power 4 the coefficient in front and y. So 4 squared, that would leave you with 16. And y squared becomes just y squared. So you are left with 16y squared minus. And again at this point you need to raise separately the coefficient in front of your term, in front of your variable, which is y, and y cubed. So 4 raised to the third power. So basically means 4 times 4 times 4. That would leave you with 64. And you have this y cubed. So minus 64y cubed. And the last step, I guess, clean up, meaning just combine, multiply these two terms together. So it becomes just 1, bring it down, minus 12y plus 3 times 16, that gives you 48y, need to attach y, minus 64y cubed. And that's going to be your final expansion, your final expression for that cube of binomial. Alright, I hope it has been helpful to you. Big thanks for watching, and I know everyone hates math, but if you like my video, please hit this like, share with your friends, leave the comments down below, and make sure to smash that subscribe button if you haven't, so you'll not miss out my new videos. Lord! that you need to raise to the cube power the first term.